What is a sign you grew up with asterisk 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 parents? You are in your 40s and still crave attention and validation from anyone at all, because you were ignored all the time. You remember being severely neglected, yet you were told you are spoiled. Why is nobody mentioning the silent footsteps? When you grow up with parents that will yell at you for existing, you develop the ability to hide your presence as much as possible and always try to keep your noise and visibility to a minimum. Being surprised people will apologize and want to talk out and deal with an issue instead of screaming and pretending everything is fine and never mentioning why there was a fight or argument at all. Never believing a compliment. Always being anxious that people are mad at you / ignoring you if they are being quiet / not responding. Not being able to deal with confrontation / conflict in a constructive / healthy way. Basically you get asterisk 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 people skills and emotional damage. You feel intimidated by everyone around you. You feel like you're never good enough for anyone, no matter how much they tell you that you don't need to try so hard, and you generally have low self-worth. Not being able to recognize affection or how to show it healthily. I can count the number of times I've made eye contact with my mother, and because I didn't want to get him a new one, Dad broke his Budweiser on my head. You apologize for everything you do, good or bad. Lot of anger problems. Even at 31 feeling like if I get close to anyone they'll find a way to take advantage of me. You don't talk to them anymore or want them in your life otherwise as an adult, for instance, not inviting them to your wedding or want them around any potential children you may have. A fantastic sense of humor. Being really good at hiding things, physical or mental. Being able to sneak something to my room. Being able to look like I haven't cried even though I was 5 minutes ago. Doing everything yourself, not asking for help because you knew no help was coming. Parents that lean more on you in rough times when it should be 100% the other way around. Okay, let's do it. Self-doubt, self-esteem issues and overall not feeling good enough or feeling like you have an intense obligation or expectation to fulfill to keep your parents happy. The inability to know what you want or not knowing how to say no when someone asks something of you in fear they will react poorly. Inability to be assertive and telling people what you are / aren't okay with. Not having high values of yourself and putting everyone else before you. Feeling guilt the minute you let someone down. Trigger words. Example, I'm disappointed. Having a habit of toxic and repetitive relationships with friends and partners. Also switching around friend groups often or having little to none. Feeling emotionally inept or being extremely emotional and feeling like you cannot express it. Difficulty with maintaining life skills, self-care, hygiene, finances etc. Feeling like a child stuck in an adult's body. When you are telling a story which you think is a funny story from your childhood, only for someone to turn around and tell you that's not normal. Question mark? If you've grown up in a very dysfunctional household, then not only is your norm set at a very messed up bar, but things that would be horrifying to others might be funny to you because of where your norm was set at. Examples of this can include funny stories that actually featured a lot of violence or neglect. Scarfing down your food because you might not get any for a while. Avoidant attachment disorder. Well, your stepdad could break your pinky when you were a kid, trying to get him and my mom to stop fighting. And that pinky could be bent all these years later. Because he took you to the school nurse, who he did meth with. And she just gave you a painkiller and tried to yank it in place and then gave you a splint. That might be a sign. A lot of overachievers are high functioning as a coping mechanism for being raised with lack of something. You call them for advice and they give you literally the worst advice ever. So you have been doing the opposite, haha. Depends on the person. Some people will take their asterisk 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 upbringing and take it out on others who had nothing to do with it. Other people will use their past as motivation to be better people than their parents. Life drastically improves without them. Bad teeth. Not knowing a lot of things that are common sense and not realizing till you're an adult yourself. You are a people pleaser. You would do anything as a kid to make your parents happy and not be treated like garbage, so you always put your feeling to the side to make them happy. Now you bring that into every aspect of your life. I'm 27, and I still get anxious and a high heart rhythm whenever I hear someone shakes his keychains. It was my father's habit when he used to come home late at night. Unable to form or desire romantic attachments, and not to forget the numerous mental illnesses you have no control over because your parent doesn't believe in poor mental health, so allowed you to go undiagnosed your whole life. When you really don't remember any good times you spent with them. I never wanted children, ever. They told me the wrong date was my birthday. Didn't find out until my 16th birthday going for my driver's license. Couldn't be bothered with getting it right, real nice of them. They don't want you to have any better of a life than they did. Thinking you do everything wrong, even small daily tasks, and at a certain moment you hear other people compliment you about doing it well, or asking why I'm a perfectionist. Always apologizing for everything, multiple times. When people say something, you suspect that they mean something else, something you did wrong. They won't tell you until they get so mad they burst. Extremely nauseous feelings when someone gets irritated or angry. Panicking at the sound of your own name being called. Not being able to tell when someone is joking or not. Thank you, mom. I feel like a charcuterie board of all this asterisk 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 comment replies asterisk asterisk asterisk. Loud, sudden noises are terrifying. So is being approached from behind. Low self-worth and self-esteem. No idea what you want in life. You attract and are attracted to people with traits that mirror your carriagivers. Seeking the nurturing you were denied as a child from your partners. Ever-present numbness, emptiness, sadness, hopelessness, anger and or fear. Registering neutral facial expressions and body language as rejection or disapproval. Difficulty with or constantly avoiding confrontation. A loud, relentless, unforgiving internal self-critic. Feeling devastated by criticism, rejection or disappointing others. Perfectionism. Hypervigilance. Inferiority. Just wanting a hug and to be told it's going to be okay once in a while. Low self-worth. Poor self-image. Or emotional responses to criticism and judgment. Unable to scale emotions properly. Extremely cynical. Struggles with resiliency, but strives for normalcy. Attachment disorders to fatherly or motherly figures. Fears abandonment and change. Can't explain myself without crying. You have trust issues. You say sorry too much. Flinching at sudden movements. You stay silent when you're angry. A lot of anger, depression, and insecurities. Your romantic relationships are mediocre. When you realize that you have to go to intense therapy to work out your severe attachment and mental issues, not just because you are more genetically prone to having it, but also because of the environment that you were raised in. I literally have to take medication to curb down some of the emotional damage done from my childhood, in addition to taking behavioral therapy in order to learn how to act like a decent human being. How do I regret clicking on this thread? When, as an adult, you witness an example of good parenting and experience a sense of shock and get dizzy. When you're taught to survive, not love. They never said sorry about anything. Loud voices make you flinch. I knew how to open a beer and pour it with minimal foam for my mom while she was driving. Bring overly passive because you're terrified of bothering people. They have no savings, no education, and helped you with nothing. Do you hate talking about yourself? Do you cringe when others talk a lot about themselves? Do you get anxious when you have to interrupt someone, even if it's important, because you're afraid they'll lose their temper with you? If you said yes to any of these, you may have been raised by a narcissist. Please consult a therapist for further action, because if you were raised by a narcissist, you need the therapy. Spending close to 20 years in therapy and still hearing a voice in your head saying back quote, you need to be smart to do that. Hypercritical of yourself. Grew up too fast. Embarrassed to act like other kids your age, so it bleeds into low confidence in social situations. I love all you people. Hope you turn around tomorrow to see some blessing come to your life. There's only one or two things that can make you happy. You feel like a burden to everyone you know. You don't credit yourself enough for the things you do. My mother treats me like her personal therapist, and I'm only 17. She asks me where she went wrong in raising my brother and I don't want to tell her because I'm scared of her when she yells. Being afraid that you'll continue the cycle and treat your kids terribly. The lack of continual basic needs not being met, water, meals, and shelter. When people do asterisk things to you, and you shut down, because your first thought is back quote, no one will believe that I didn't do something to deserve it. Back quote. You bought and shot fireworks when one of them kicked the bucket. My dad was yelling at me once, and I couldn't take it, so I made a snappy comment back. Instinctively I threw my hands up to block the blow I knew was coming. But then they both tried to convince me that my dad has never hit me before, and why would I act like that, so physically abusive and mentally abusive with gaslighting. Paranoia when people are just being nice. Like, why are you being friendly? What do I have that you want from me? Mom dropped me off at 14 across the USA with no money or place to live. Then didn't talk to me for 6 years. Wonders why I won't speak with her after she threatened to shoot me for getting 2 extra pieces of firewood than she told me I could have. Grammatical and spelling associated. You can't stick to your boundaries. Someone raises their voice doesn't even have to be in anger, they could just have a deep voice, but suddenly it's asterisk loud asterisk backslash, and your first reaction is to either shrink in on yourself, or focus on anything but their face, and wait for your throat to stop feeling so tight, or for your eyes to stop watering. You were raised by your grandparents. You end up being a copy of them, instead of your own person. Parents create clones of themselves. Good ones create unique people. You don't talk to them anymore by the time you turn 20. True story. You are incredibly numb to up stuff. Oh, Sam got arrested for domestic violence. Well, did he hit someone, or was there a misunderstanding? Difficulty with connecting to people, especially romantic interests, later in life. Apologizing constantly. You've become really good at hiding everything. Being extremely independent. If you don't miss them, you don't feel the urge to call or see them, no matter how much time has passed. That's usually a good sign. Self-harm such as cutting. You can notice the approaching footsteps by the sound of putting the keys on the shelf. You understand the mood of the parents. An inability to regulate emotions and maintain stable and healthy relationships. When I tell stories of my childhood that I think are funny, but my friends stare in horror,